Erik ten Hag and Manchester United are in need of a new tactic for their rebuild. So in this video, we're not necessarily going to do a rebuild where we're simming 5 years. We're just going to do the one season. But what we are going to do is look at some realistic signings. We've got the Athletic to help us with that. And then in Football Manager, we will create a system that, well, with the new players, Erik ten Hag can use if he wants to download this new tactic. So without the further hold up, Frenkie de Jong is rumoured to be joining Manchester United. He's heavily linked. So I've replaced the striker for Frenkie de Jong. So we are going to be looking for a defensive midfielder, a right-sided forward. We already have Frenkie de Jong, and then we have the right back. Broadly speaking, a Ten Hag central midfield at Ajax has often involved one player progressing the ball from deep with vertical passes or ball carries. The other tends to be a secure passer who regulates at pace at which the team plays. So now we can look at the Athletic shortlist. Aurelien Tchouameni, of course, has moved to Real Madrid, so it's unlikely we can get him. Boubacar Kamara, again, someone else that has left. He left Marseille and he's joined Aston Villa. I like calling them Aston Villa. Fabian Ruiz, now this is interesting. I do find him more of a ball playing midfielder. As we can see here, Napoli's Fabian Ruiz is a holding midfielder of the passing metronome type. So he's not necessarily that holding midfielder that excels with the defensive statistics such as ball recoveries and interceptions. And lastly, we also have Konrad Laimer. Interestingly, last year the Bundesliga ran a piece describing Konrad Laimer as the Austrian N'Golo Kante. So that was the Athletic shortlist. Now it's time to show you who I have identified. Wilfred Ndidi. And looking at the defensive metrics, it really speaks for itself. For the interceptions, 99%, tackles 199%, duels 193%, recoveries 83%, successful pressures at 89%. But this guy does come with flaws. So for the passing percentage, his passing percentage isn't great. I believe it's around 85-86%. He does play, or he does attempt, a fair amount of long balls, which is one reason why his passing percentage might be a little low. He is losing the ball at an alarming rate, something that Erik ten Hag might not be a huge fan of, but again, it might just be those long balls that he is attempting. But also, I am expecting Frenkie de Jong to be heavily involved in the build-up. He's going to be the main guy in the build-up, and Ndidi is going to be that water carrier. So we can also see here where Ndidi likes to operate and where he completes most of his defensive actions. He likes to operate, of course, in those deeper areas of midfield, but with the defensive actions, we can see he does cover or protect that zone 14 area fairly well. More interestingly, we can see where Ndidi's pass endpoints are, and we can match this with Frenkie de Jong's reception. So where does Frenkie de Jong like to receive the ball, and where does Ndidi's passes end? Ndidi's pass endpoint is again in that same area where he likes to defend, but of course Ndidi doesn't just pass in one area. You can also see in that left half space and that right half space, Ndidi, where he likes to pass the ball, is where Frenkie de Jong likes to receive the ball, and this could mean the two could form a nice link-up relationship. So picking one of the two, Papi Gueye or Wilfred Ndidi, I'm of course going to select Wilfred Ndidi. Now this doesn't mean that Manchester United are actually interested in real life. It's just me doing my own little research. But we can move over to the right back, and unfortunately the Athletic haven't written number 4 yet. They don't have the 4th series out. So what I have actually done is just looked at Timber's style of play, not necessarily his stats, just his style of play and what he likes to do, and I've kind of tried to find someone else with a similar profile. And there's just one player. Now Man United fans, this wouldn't be a dream signing whatsoever. Timber is more of a dream signing. This guy is more of a, I don't know. He can be there. He can be there. And let's say Timber signs for next season, then this guy would be a very, very good option to have behind a Timber. So the player that I'm talking about is Thilo Kehrer, the right back / centre back that plays for PSG. And we are comparing him with other right backs and centre backs in the top 5 leagues around Europe. This is the player that I have identified that kind of has a similar profile to Timber. He can play right back, he can play centre back, and he's also very good on the ball. Now watching him play for Germany, he is heavily involved in a back 3 system when playing out from the back, as we can see in the image. So as we know, Ten Hag does like to build up with a 3 at the back. Luke Shaw could be the left back advancing higher up, while Thilo Kehrer comes inside and forms that 3 at the back with the 2 central defenders. Now this could have also been a role for Timber at Manchester United, but of course that deal looks like it is over. Thilo Kehrer, he is heavily involved in the build up when it comes to looking at the percentile ranks. He is receiving a lot of of touches as well. So again, he is used to being involved in that build-up play. And for the defensive metrics, tackles won, he's at 61%, which is good enough. And looking at the interceptions as well, he is in that 84th percentile rank. He does win a fair share of his aerial duels. For the percentile rank, he is at 49%, but for progressive carries, he's at 70%. So again, he can complement Manchester United when it comes to build-up play. Not only is he involved in the build-up play, but he does also like to advance a little higher up the pitch, which is kind of the role that Mazraoui was playing last season at Ajax. And we can also look at his progressive actions, the passing, and his carries, mostly down that right hand side. And I feel this Thilo Kehrer, he has the profile of a right back that Manchester United should be looking at this summer. But Thilo Kehrer is kind of the one right back that I could find that I felt was good enough to be at Manchester United, but also that has that profile of Timber. So now we have completed the defensive midfielder search. We're getting Ndidi, the right back search, getting Thilo Kehrer. Now it's time to look for that right sided forward. We do have Michael Elise, who is compared to now attacking midfielders, right wingers and left wingers in the top 5 leagues. As we can see, playing for Crystal Palace as well, this is looking fairly impressive. So with the assists, he's at 94%, progressive actions 91%, the distance is at 93%, and expected threat generated at 92%. He does create a fair amount of chances for his side. We can see for the take-ons attempted as well, he does like to get the ball and take on the opposition players. You can see for the expected assist how creative Michael Elise is, and for the crosses completed percentile rank, he's at 84%, while his percentage is at 36%. We can see where Anthony completed his passes that went into the box, and again, it's down that right hand side, not necessarily down the byline, just on the right of the edge of the box, but also just around the box as well in that right half space. Looking at Michael Elise's, again, fairly similar. The players' receptions as well, where are they receiving the ball from their teammates? Looking at Michael Elise, 24%, kind of in that lower area of the opposition's half, and then 25% in the mid area of the opposition's half. On that right hand side, looking at Anthony, he does receive most of his touches kind of in that mid part of the opposition's half, but again, it's fairly similar to Michael Elise's receptions map. There's also take-ons as well. Where do the players like to take on the opposition defenders? Now, slightly different. So Anthony, you can see that more in that right half space, but also again in that mid part of the opposition's half, where Michael Elise is more in the deeper area of the opposition's half. But this could be that Michael Elise has to receive the ball in the more deeper areas, as we saw with the receptions as well. Therefore, he has to take on the opposition in the deeper areas more than Anthony does, of course, because he's receiving the ball more in those deeper areas. Of course, both are left-footed, operating on that right hand side, so they are both going to be cutting inside onto their preferred foot in order to take a shot. Now, Michael Elise, majority of his shots are inside the box, similar with Anthony, but there are opportunities where they do take shots from range, from the edge of the box, and you can see again, even the shots are fairly similar. The map is fairly similar, and now we can see why I believe the two players, well, they're fairly similar. They do have a similar profile. But that is it in identifying the players. Now for right back, I do have Thilo Kehrer. For the holding midfielder, Wilfred Ndidi to partner with Frenkie de Jong in midfield, and as that right winger, we do have Michael Elise as the option at Manchester United. But now it's time to go into Football Manager to have a look at the Erik ten Hag system with these players. So welcome to the Football Manager part, of course, and what I have done in this squad as well is got rid of some of the players. Now, I don't actually have a list of the players that I got rid of. For some reason, it's not in the transfers out, but we did get rid of players like Anthony Martial. My head is going to be fried right now. There will be Man United fans that can obviously spot some of the players missing, but there's Eric Bailly as well. Was there 2 centre-backs? I honestly couldn't even tell you the exact players that we got rid of. But now, let's get into the tactics. So how do I feel some of these players will fit in? So at right back, we do have Thilo Kehrer. For the right winger, we have Michael Elise. But if Michael Elise, let's say he did make this move, I don't feel Michael Elise will be a guaranteed or an automatic starter. For this video purpose though, we will just put him in. And then we do have Wilfred Ndidi as that right-sided midfielder, being the holding midfielder. And then lastly, we have Frenkie de Jong, our 4 new signings. We are using a 4-2-3-1, but we are going to be using kind of a hybrid. So it's going to be a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 kind of hybrid. Erik ten Hag is a fan of both systems, so I kind of felt, why not try and implement both in one? kind of. So it's not necessarily a 4-2-3-1, not necessarily a 4-3-3. It is both. We get the best of both worlds, and what we're going to do to create that is just get Wilfred Ndidi and just dropping down one, and here we have 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 hybrid. But what we can also do is fill in the rest of the spots to try and get an eye there of the player roles that we should be using in this tactic. So we have David De Gea, and we're just going to keep him as a goalkeeper. I don't really trust him. I'm sure Manchester United fans don't trust him as well, being a sweeper keeper where he's likely having to receive a lot of the ball. So we're just going to use a standard goalkeeper in goal. For that right central defender, we are going to be using Rafael Varane, and for the left side, the central defender, we're going to be using Harry Maguire, though Harry Maguire will be that ball playing defender. Left back, we are going to be using Luke Shaw. So this is our back four or back five, including the goalkeeper. And for the player roles, for Luke Shaw, you can use him as a fullback on attack possibly, or even a wing back. But what I've actually done is used him as the inverted wing back, and so too Thilo Kehrer as well. So now we have two inverted wing backs, but the idea for me kind of is we kind of get both doing similar things. So we have Thilo Kehrer on the right hand side. So let's say the ball is advanced on the left hand side, Luke Shaw might advance to get further forward, but now what I want to happen is that inverted right back to come inside, kind of making that temporary back three with Maguire, Varane and Thilo Kehrer. But I want similar to happen on the right hand side. So let's say the ball is on the right hand side further ahead, Thilo Kehrer might make this run inside further up here. So now what I want is this back three here between Varane, Maguire and Luke Shaw, and that is basically the reason why I used two inverted wing backs. Otherwise, I would have possibly used one inverted wing back, that being Thilo Kehrer, with Luke Shaw being that wing back, but I did want to create more of a fluid system in Football Manager. Now for that holding midfielder, we need someone with legs. Wilfred Ndidi, of course, has legs. He's got energy, but we aren't going to be using him as a player on a defensive role. The reason being, we don't want him just to be staying here, because again, he has to cover for Frenkie de Jong. If Frenkie de Jong is higher up the pitch, we also want Ndidi not to be too distant from him. Ndidi can be the legs breaking up play all over the pitch. So Frenkie de Jong will have his position here in central midfield, but we are using a ball winning midfielder on the supportive duty for Wilfred Ndidi. For Frenkie de Jong, for me, he just has to be that roaming playmaker. Everything has to go through him, and once he picks up the ball from those deeper areas, he then has to drive further forward towards the edge of the box, kind of what we touched on earlier in the analysis. Now for the attack line, for the attacking midfielder, I am going to be using an attacking midfielder on support, and this will be Bruno Fernandes, but he's not going to be too distant from his team. We are trying to make that 4-3-3, especially in midfield. We want that three in midfield at times, so at times Bruno Fernandes can drop into that midfield, whereas him being on attack, getting into the box, this is going to be his main focus on attack, and he might not necessarily drop to receive the ball, making it more of a 4-3-3. So that's the reason why I'm going to be using an attacking midfielder on support on the left hand side. Now, I mean, we've got a few options here. We have Rashford, we have Jadon Sancho. In real life, they are rumoured to get Christian Eriksen as well. If they do get Christian Eriksen, I do predict that this left winger is going to be more of a creative left winger, more of a Dusan Tadic. But because we have Marcus Rashford in the side in Football Manager, I am going to be using Marcus Rashford as an inside forward on attack. And Michael Elise, he's going to be that inverted winger on the right hand side. Lastly, we can put Cristiano Ronaldo up top, and this completes our Manchester United 22-23 team in FM22. This right winger, now Jadon Sancho is of course the better player, so in Football Manager you might actually start with Jadon Sancho rather than Michael Elise, but Michael Elise is only 20 years of age or 19 years of age on this game. When it comes to the player instructions, you guys will be able to see it if you do download the tactic, but for some important ones, Maguire, Varane, I have put them on stay wider. This is for build-up purposes, just so we can find better better passing angles. For Frenkie de Jong as well, we are asking him to dribble more with the ball because we need him to progress with the ball. He can also move into channels, but that might be down to you guys. Also, Elise, again, trying to replicate that Anthony role. We are going to be asking him to stay wider, take more risk, but also, of course, cross more often. So that there is the player roles and all of that sorted. Now it's time to move over to the team instructions. The mentality, it just has to be positive, and we are of course going to be playing out from the defense. Now interestingly, the passing directness, we're going to whack this all the way to much shorter, but for the tempo all the way to much higher. For some odd reason, this works really well in Football Manager. Ideally, or originally, I had it like this, shorter and higher. I just played about with it a little bit because I wasn't necessarily happy with the possession stats, and I ended up being, well, happy with this setup here, even though the possession numbers dropped. I do believe it dropped because of the tempo. Now we're asking everybody to do things at a much higher tempo, but I did feel that even with much shorter, the possession numbers were going to be better. In fact, they weren't. They actually dropped. So we are also going to run at the defense. We want this team to be a progressive team, bringing the ball, carrying the ball forward. But we are also, interestingly, going to focus the play down the right, mainly because at Ajax, there was a nice little overload on the right-hand side between, I was going to say David Neres, between Anthony, the attacking midfielder, but also the right back as well. There was a nice little overload on the right-hand side for Ajax. So we are going to be a team that focuses on transitional play. And for the goalkeeper, well, I did touch on Ndidi not being the most comfortable on the ball, so we're going to try and avoid Ndidi and just get the ball to the playmaker by taking short kicks. I don't even trust David De Gea taking short kicks, so you might want to roll it out, throw it long, or take short. Let's check his kicking. Passing's on 9, his kicking's on 14, so yeah. And lastly, for out of possession, we are going to be using a higher line of engagement, a higher defensive line, force the opposition on the outside. We're just going to use all of the stuff here. We're just going to be using all of the stuff here. And that wraps up the tactic, the Erik ten Hag Football Manager 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 tactic that I've created with, I don't know, potential future transfers. So we have Santilo Kera, Ndidi, Michael Olise, and Frankie de Jong. So what we can do now is kind of play a game if you guys want to play a game. So we are going to play a game. I don't even know what I'm talking about. We are going to play a game, and then we are going to check the results to see how well Erik ten Hag did at Manchester United. Actually, no, we're going to check the results and then play a game lastly. That's what we're going to do. So let's check the results of this Erik ten Hag tactic or season. So here we are, 21st of May. Now it's time to look at the results, and as you can see as well, a lot of greens for the average rating. So if we do go to the home screen, you can see Manchester United did win the league with 105. Why did I go to the home screen? Looking at the competition screen, we can see Manchester United did win the league. We won 34 out of the 38 games, drawing 3, which was a 1-1 draw away to Liverpool, a 0-0 draw away to Arsenal, but also a 0-0 draw away to Everton. We did lose one game, which was frustrating, a 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace. I say frustrating, but I didn't actually play the game. This is on holiday. This was simulated. Now let's look at some of the stats on the league as well. Manchester United scoring 95 goals, just 2 more than Manchester City. They did take the most shots in the league, had the fewest shots against. For the best pass completion, now this is what I mean. Now if we go to our tactics, you can see that the passing directness is on much shorter. It's all the way much shorter, but for the pass completion, we aren't actually completing a lot of the passes, and the most possession, or the average possession, we're not in the top 8. Weird situation. Tackles won, Manchester United are in second. They're in second. For the dribbles made, not in the top 8. For the most clean sheets, Manchester United. For the fewest conceded, Manchester United. Top goal scorer, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Marcus Rashford with 21, so he performed fairly well as that inside forward. I hope he played there. So yes, as we can see, he did play most of the games as that inside forward. You can see he scored 2 against Manchester City. He scored 2 against Manchester City twice. Well, we played Manchester City 3 times in a row. Bruno Fernandes with the most assists. Michael Olise there with 11. That is interesting. One second. Most shots, Ronaldo. Most man of the match awards, Ronaldo joined with Haaland. Bruno Fernandes is joined with Patson Daka. For the most key passes, Bruno Fernandes, but also Michael Olise. This is getting me excited. I think this should be a signing in real life. Luke Shaw with 100 tackles. Most dribbles made, nobody in the top 8. David De Gea with the most clean sheets, and with also the fewest conceded. But that there is the results. Actually, we can see how much the players scored in all competitions. Ronaldo scored 46 in 45 starts. Rashford with 29 in 41 starts. Michael Olise, my God, this guy is fantastic. 17 goals, 16 assists in 33 starts. Elanga with 17 goals. Sancho with 15. Bruno with 10. Fernandes has 18 assists, Olise has 16, Sancho has 13, Van der Beek has 11, De Jong has 10, and Ronaldo has 10. How did Frankie de Jong perform? He performed fairly well. He scored 3 and got 8 assists in the Premier League with an average rating of 7.13. But that there wraps up the results. Now we're going to play that game. I can't remember who we're playing against, but let's go and play that game. So the game that we do have to play is against Everton. So let's play Everton. Let's get stuck in, sort out the team, and collect 3 points. And this is the team that we're going to go with as well, the preferred 11. So let's get stuck in. Luke Shaw, Frankie de Jong being involved in the build-up play. De Gea back to Maguire. Luke Shaw now in that kind of half space area there. Plays a long ball over the top to Marcus. Marcus drives towards the goal. Plays it across to Bruno. Michael Olise! Cuts in, and it's 1-0 to Manchester United already. I mean, it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds in. Rashford, nice control there. He drives towards the box. He plays kind of a loose ball. I don't know even. It seems like he looked for Ronaldo, but the keeper didn't even move after that shot. It's now 1-0 to Manchester United. Seamus Coleman to Yerry Mina. Allen now. Doucouré. Calvert-Lewin. Dele Alli plays a long ball, but there we go. Kera gets and intercepts the ball. Luke Shaw, Frankie de Jong, Rafael Varane. Let's avoid Ndidi here. There we are. Frankie de Jong. He could have dribbled with the ball there. Bruno Fernandes, Michael Olise. Here is some champagne football. What a ball from Olise. Oh! Jordan Pickford with a goal kick. Has Ben Godfrey now. Pickford's going to kick it long. Frankie de Jong intercepts the ball. Rashford. Oh, he tries to play in Olise here. There's Tifo Kera now. Driving towards that right-hand side. Ronaldo heads the ball over. Great play by Tilo Kera there. Ndidi blocks the shot. That's what we like to see. Here's Olise, plays it to Tilo. Rafael Varane now. Ndidi plays a simple pass. Looks for De Jong. Oh, De Jong's on a light injury. That's not what we want to see. But a nice ball out to Rashford there. Plays it back into Frankie. Bruno. Marquis. The football's brilliant. What a save by Jordan Pickford for Michael Olise's shot inside the box. Brilliant football. It really could be more than 1-0 here. And Varane heads the ball onto the bar. Unlucky. So that's half time. As you can see, Man United, the dominant side. We've actually got 54% of the ball. So forget about what I said earlier. Frankie de Jong is on that light injury. Maybe that's affecting his play, but we aren't going to take him off. He's a soldier. He is a soldier. Let's start the second half. We have a corner. Bruno Fernandes whips it in. Ronaldo, and it's a simple save for Jordan Pickford. But the highlight continues. What is going to happen? Pickford kicks it long. And it's collected by Luke Shaw. Frankie de Jong now. Marcus Rashford. Bruno. Lovely football here. Luke Shaw, he can whip this in. Ronaldo's in there. He holds up the ball. But here's Frankie de Jong. Wilfred Ndidi now. Plays it back to Harry Maguire. Varane. Out wide to Tilo. He brings it inside. Oof. Header out by Yerry Mina. But here's Rashford. I feel a goal coming. Frankie de Jong gets on the ball. Marcus Rashford. He's hit the woodwork again. We've hit the woodwork 3 times today. I'm not exactly sure how it's only 1-0. Here's Ben Godfrey trying to progress with the ball. Doucouré, Calvert-Lewin now. Allen. Frankie de Jong wins the ball. That is a nice interception. There's Michael Olise now driving in towards the box. Plays it back to Ndidi. Frankie de Jong. Bruno Fernandes. Oh! Referee, that can't be off. No, ref. Referee, no. And it's goal awarded. 2-0 to Manchester United. I did say it should be more than 1-0. And now it is. It was a great tackle there by Frankie de Jong, and he does get the assist as well. So he starts off the move by winning the ball, and then he plays that goal assist as well into Bruno Fernandes' path, and it is 2-0 to the Manchester United. Here's Luke Shaw, plays it to De Jong now. Luke Shaw again. Harry Maguire on the ball. He's going to bring the ball forward surely. Yes. Frankie de Jong now. Wilfred Ndidi. De Jong is receiving a lot of the ball, but so is Ndidi. Here's Maguire. De Jong plays it to Bruno. Bruno running wide of the ball. Frankie plays it back to Maguire. Patience now. Luke Shaw over the top. Rashford. Oh! What a goal. That is number 10 for Cristiano Ronaldo this season. I believe there's only 7 games or 8 games played. But what a goal. What a football. What a football. Luke Shaw plays the ball over the top to Rashford and he just squares it into Ronaldo. Nice and simple. Tap in 3-0 to the Manchester United, the Red Devils. We have a last minute corner. Bruno Fernandes whips it in for Varane. Oh, Rashford's hit the post again. This time it was an open goal. So how has he missed? Oh my God. Let's actually check. Let's confirm this. There we go. Hit the woodwork 4 times. It is madness. Here's Davies now. Davies plays the ball over the top to Iwobi. Oh, get in the bin, Football Manager, man. That is literally their first shot on target. Oh, in the 90th minute, and it just ruined the clean sheet. That has annoyed me. If they score again. If they score again. I've noticed our central midfielder presses more than our attacking midfielder. Here's Tilo Kehrer, Van der Beek, and Ndidi. Plays it to De Gea, Maguire. Oh, guys, do not lose the ball now. Come on, Ronaldo. Oh, Van der Beek. Michael Elise's in the box. He's all by himself. He's going to have to hold it up for Ronaldo. And it's 4-1. Elise getting an assist as well. He's got a goal and assist today. So the new signings are performing very, very well. He just gets in between that left back, the Nkunku guy. I mean, clearly not a very good defender, and Ronaldo just smashes it in and makes it 4-1. And that there wraps up this game at Old Trafford. It was a very, very good game for Manchester United and Erik ten Hag's boys, the new boys, especially Michael Elise getting a goal in the 3rd minute, creating 2 clear-cut chances. I might have said that already, but also Tilo Kehrer gets a 7.3 and Ndidi gets a 7.1. Frankie de Jong gets a 7.8. So all 4 new signings performing very, very well for Manchester United, and that is how they can perform in real life. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I have enjoyed recording it and editing it. Yeah, you know what I mean. And don't forget, if you are enjoying this, to hit subscribe, like the video, share it, leave a comment, all of that good stuff. I will see you guys soon. Stay safe and peace out.